Hello everyone and welcome back. So starting with import under GST, the chapter is C category because as such this is a mix of concepts that we have already studied at one place or other. So now import can be of goods also, import can be of services also. So first of all, let's talk about import of goods because that is very much simple. GST has no role to play there because all the import and export of goods are covered under Customs Act that we've studied already. So we know first of all what is the meaning of import of goods: bringing goods into India from a place outside India. So when goods from some another country comes to India, we call it as import of goods. And we already know this, that in case of import of goods, all the GST and all the duties that are levied are to be levied along with the customs duty only. We have studied valuation under customs and we already know this, that in case of import of goods, IGST is levied and collected under section 3 of Customs Tariff Act on whatever value is determined as per the Customs Tariff Act only. So the point where you levy custom duty, that is the same point and that same assessable value in which you add all the customs duty and then on the total amount, you start levying GST. But then we have one exception here. See, understand. Online gaming. What is online money gaming? Online money gaming is actionable claims, right? We have seen definition of actionable claims, which specifically includes online money gaming. Actionable claims are goods. Goods means other than but includes. We've studied definition of goods. Goods means other than and but includes. So we understand that actionable claims are a part of goods. And online money gaming is a part of actionable claims, which automatically means that online money gaming is also to be considered as goods only. But the proviso says that online money gaming is not treated as any normal good. Means the way you import any other goods, those all goods are physical. You can see them actually entering into the territory of India. You levy customs duty on them at the same point of time. You also levy GST on them. But for online money gaming, government has notified it separately that IGST will be normally levied just like we levy GST on all other goods and services. Not to be treated means if online money gaming you are importing, it will not be treated as other goods where you levy customs duty and then you levy GST along with it. The answer is no. So they are simply saying that online money gaming is not falling here. So they are saying that government, on recommendation of council, can notify supply of online money gaming as goods on import of which IGST is to be levied normally only, and this proviso will not apply. What was section 5? Section 5 of IGST Act was charging section, right? Section 9 CGST Act and corresponding is section 5 IGST Act charging section. So 5(1) and 9(1) normally say that whenever supply happens, GST is levied. But the proviso to section 5(1) simply says that, see, if it is import of goods, then the duties will be levied according to Customs Tariff Act along with custom duty and not normal GST. But we have an exception to the proviso. Proviso is exception of the main section. Now we have an exception to the proviso in itself, which is simply saying that online money gaming not to be treated as normal import of goods, but their normal section 5(1) will apply. Means normally just like we levy GST on any other goods services, similarly GST will also be levied on online money gaming, right? Because you cannot physically see online money gaming crossing any territory of India, so their customs duty has no role to play, but GST will still be levied normally. Now, importer can avail ITC. We obviously know that whenever you are importing something, you file bill of entry and you pay all of your taxes along with it. And then later, whatever GST you are paying with your bill of import, bill of entry, the ITC of the same can be availed. Import of services. What do we understand by the term import of services? Import of goods is very much simple. Import of goods, bringing goods to India from a place outside India is import of goods. What about import of services? Simple. Supplier has to be outside India. Recipient has to be in India. And place of supply has to be in India. So supplier outside India. Recipient in India. And place of supply in India. If you fulfill all of these three conditions, means it is an import of service. And we have already seen this. We've already seen this, that if import of service is done for consideration, it is always treated as supply. Be it business purpose, be it personal purpose. Section 7(1) supply includes, we have already seen this particular chart saying that if import of services for consideration, it is always going to be treated as supply only, be it personal purpose, be it business purpose. But if the import of services without consideration, then it has to be from related person, own establishment, and plus of course furtherance of business, then treated as supply, otherwise not supply. And we have also seen that if something is treated as supply, doesn't mean GST will automatically be levied. They might be exempt specifically at some places, yes. So if import of services for consideration, business purpose, then the recipient pays IGST on RCM basis, we know this. If import of service for consideration, non-business purpose, we have seen under the chapter of exemption that such import of services are specifically exempt under GST. Exceptions are OIDAR and online money gaming. That on OIDAR, see, online money gaming was removed from here. Online money gaming was removed from here, that the duties will not be levied along with customs. So then duties will be normally levied on RCM basis. Yes, now in such cases also, they are saying that, see, online money gaming is personal purpose, not business purpose for consideration. Therefore, they are saying that it is not exempt. And for OIDAR services and for online money gaming, we have already seen in the chapter of place of supply, section 14 and section 14A, that if provided B2B, then RCM basis. If provided B2C, then these suppliers will have to take registration in India, collect tax under forward charge mechanism normally, and then pay the GST to government. So normally all non-business purpose imports for consideration are exempt under GST. They are supply, but they are exempt. But there are two particular exceptions saying that these things, even if personal, means let's say even if you are taking Netflix subscription, Netflix is not Indian company, means you are importing some kind of service, paying consideration for Netflix subscription, and it is non-business purpose also, but it is not exempt because it is OIDAR services. Tax will be collected from you on forward charge mechanism basis, and you will have to pay GST on the same. Done, simple and clear. This chart is nothing new. This chart of import of services we have already studied in section 7 of CGST Act. This import of goods we've already studied under customs. As I said, this chapter is just a collection of topics here and there that we have studied with respect to imports already. Other points, if there is an 100% export oriented unit importing some goods, they are exempt from paying of customs duty also from IGST and GST compensation cess also. What do we understand by the term EOU, export oriented unit? Such units are formed specifically to manufacture products and to export them. Means then 100% of the output is compulsorily exported, only export oriented unit. So in such cases, government is saying that if they import anything to manufacture something and then export it elsewhere in some other country, in that case, no requirement to pay any custom duty, IGST or compensation cess, everything is exempt for them. High sea sale, again we have already covered in the customs portion that at the time when you are making sales and it is a high sea sale, no GST is levied. But later when the goods reach India, the person clearing those goods will now be required to pay custom duty as well as GST on the last transaction value. So custom duty and IGST levied on last transaction value, and the amount paid by the last buyer who files bill of entry for home consumption will be considered. High sea sale in itself falls under negative list. This also we have done in the chapter of types of duty under customs. This is also nothing new. Bond to bond transfer also we have seen that the point where you are doing bond to bond transfer, it falls under schedule 3 negative list. But later on, the person who has purchased the goods from you from this bond to bond transfer, when he clears this good, he will have to pay the taxes on the value, transaction value or value under section 3(8), whichever is higher. Particularly types of duty along with examples. I have taught you this thing, therefore I am not repeating. This is nothing new. If you can pause here, go to your types of duty notes and you will find the same things there also, that high sea sale and bond to bond transfer both do not attract any GST. Both are falling under negative list schedule 3. But the buyer who purchases in high sea sale or who purchases in bond to bond transfer, when attempts to clear these goods from customs authority, at that point of time he will be required to pay duty as well as IGST. In case of high sea sale, you simply pay duty on last transaction value. But in case of bond to bond transfer, customs duty is paid on the accessible value, but IGST is paid on the original accessible value or the last transaction value, whichever is higher. Even if it is sold multiple times, then we have to take the last transaction value only for the purpose of comparison with accessible value. If the goods are imported by SEZ unit or developer for some authorized operations, then in that case also they are exempt from IGST. So goods imported by an SEZ unit or developer, not for any, see, 100% TOU has been given with a blanket exemption that 100% TOU, if imports anything, they are exempt from GST. But SEC unit developer, there are some authorized operations. If you are importing for those authorized operations, then in that case only IGST is exempt. Customs duty will still be levied. Here everything is exempt. But in case of SEC unit developer for authorized operations, only IGST is exempt and other duties will continue to levy. Section 14 OIDAR services, refer place of supply chapter because we have already completed it there. As I said, this is just a mix of all imports that we have studied here and there. So the definition of OIDAR services already given in place of supply chapter, that the delivery is essentially automated. What were the two conditions? What were the test to determine whether a particular service is OIDAR or not? So point number 1 was that the delivery has to be mediated via information technology only. There is no manual physical delivery of the content. And second, it is impossible to do in the absence of information technology. So OIDAR, it can be any digital storage, online advertisement, online gaming, or you can take this e-books, e-movies, Netflix, Prime, Amazon, all of these things. All of these things are simply the delivery is also mediated online, and it is impossible to carry out such services in absence of information technology. If both these conditions are fulfilled, we call it as OIDAR service. See, earlier there was this one more test saying that there is no or very much minimum human intervention. I have specifically highlighted this point in place of supply chapter. If you can go to place of supply chapter, okay, chalo, I will take you. Let's go to place of supply chapter here. Definition of OIDAR services. See, we have striked off this point. Earlier there was this condition saying that page number, this is 111, page number 111, place of supply chapter. We had seen this point that earlier it was a necessity that there should be minimum or no human intervention. Everything is done electronically only. But now this point has been removed. So only two things are there to test in the definition of OIDAR. One, that the delivery is mediated by information technology, and second, that it is impossible to carry out such services in absence of information technology. Then in such cases, we say they are OIDAR services. And for such OIDAR services, if you are providing B2B supplies, then the recipient will pay under RCM. But even if you are providing B2C supplies, means you are providing supplies to non-taxable online recipient. You are providing services to non-taxable online recipients who are unregistered person receiving OIDAR services, or any person who is solely registered for the purpose of TDS under section 51. Then in this case, we will say that the supplier of OIDAR services will have to take registration in India, collect tax and pay it under forward charge mechanism. Even if the supplier is not having physical presence in India, he will have to mandatorily appoint an agent or representative just to carry out the tax compliances. Then we had taken this example also that what if Play Store is an intermediary, Play Store or App Store, any such kind of intermediary who is connecting the supplier and the recipient of OIDAR services. What to do in such cases? So here they are saying that in case service is provided through an intermediary, then that intermediary will have to collect and pay GST as if he or she or it is the only ultimate supplier. However, if all of these four conditions are fulfilled, then we do not consider Play Store as intermediary. Normally, let's say there is some ABC company providing online advertisement via XYZ platform. So ABC company is providing some online advertisement services via XYZ platform. So XYZ platform is the intermediary. You are the ultimate person receiving such services. Now, we are saying that we will deem this intermediary only to be the OIDAR service provider. This will only be liable to collect and pay tax under forward charge mechanism. But if this platform fulfills all these four conditions, then he is freed from the compliance, and then we will hold the ultimate supplier only liable. What are the four conditions? One, invoice has to clearly mention what is the service and who is the supplier. Invoice or bill or receipt, whatever you say, has to clearly identify what is the service provided and who is the supplier in non-taxable territory. Second, intermediary is not involved in the payment process. He is not responsible to collect payment. He is not responsible to collect and forward the payment to supplier. Nothing. No processing of payment, no collection of payment. Nothing is done by intermediary. Payment is directly going to supplier only. Intermediary is not even authorizing delivery. Means intermediary is not taking the responsibility to deliver the particular service to the ultimate customer. And last, intermediary has no role to play in deciding any of the terms and conditions. So all the T&C terms and conditions decided by supplier, payment collected by supplier, delivery given by supplier, means everything is done between supplier and recipient only. No responsibility is being taken on the part of intermediary. He is just a platform connecting both of these people. In such case, we will not deem intermediary to be supplier, and no compliance burden will be there on intermediary. If at all any of these conditions is not fulfilled, means let's say he's not collecting payment but he is authorizing delivery, then also we will deem the intermediary only to be the supplier, and now this intermediary will become liable to make sure that the compliances of OIDAR services are done. This is an indicative list of OIDAR services. I would advise you to read them once. Maybe for MCQ purpose, they can ask whether they are giving you four options that what is OIDAR from this or what is not. If you have just read the list once, you will be able to identify. See, website hosting, website automated online distance learning programs, remote administrative systems, advertising space, downloading jingles, excerpts, ringtones, downloading songs, watching movies online. All of these are examples of OIDAR services. So I've just given a list of various OIDAR services which possibly might be tested in MCQ. Nothing more than that. Now, taxability of ocean freight. Taxability of ocean freight in case of imports. Now, see, understand. If you are an importer who is availing any kind of transportation services, you are an importer who is availing any kind of transportation services from a foreign shipping company, then you will be required to pay tax under RCM. This was the second point of the IGST RCM entries, which is now removed. Why? Mohit Minerals is simply saying that if your contract with your importer was on CIF basis, cost insurance freight basis, and there is a foreign shipping company, then in this case, we understand CIF, cost insurance freight, means whatever amount I am paying to my importer for import will include the amount of transportation also, because CIF basis simply means all responsibility of supplier till the goods reach the customs barriers of India. So insurance cost and freight, everything. Freight also is included in the price that I have decided along with my importer, which makes it a composite supply, because we have seen that freight and insurance, if agreed with the original supply, it becomes a composite supply and it is taxable alongside only. So we have also studied valuation under customs, where we know that we include freight also while paying GST at the time of importation. So when you import goods, in the assessable value itself, you are including freight also. So now they are saying that no separate GST under RCM is required to be paid, because already on the entire CIF value, we are paying tax under reverse charge mechanism. Then no need to pay tax again on the same freight. However, if your contract is on FOB basis, means what you are paying to the importer is only the value of goods, and freight is something that you have arranged on your own from a foreign shipping company. This falls under any normal kind of import. Means here I will say, I am taking service of transportation from some third person who is providing freight services. See, This is the person who is sending me the goods. This is the person who is sending me the goods, let's say from China. And this is a company from whom I have taken transportation. My importer has not arranged it for me. Our contract was FOB. I have taken separate transportation services from a transporter. Then in this case, this is a normal import of service. Transportation is also a service. And whenever you normally import any service, you have to pay RCM on the same. So here we will say that RCM will be payable by Indian importer as per section 5.3. But we know that majority of the contracts, majority of the import contracts are CIF basis only. And therefore there is no requirement to pay RCM separately for the transportation, because that will be considered as a composite supply only, already included in the assessable value, and we pay RCM on the entire amount. If at all you are hiring any Indian shipping company, then to normal. If you take normal transportation services from a normal Indian transport company, normal forward charge mechanism is applied by any freight paid by the importer. Now that is a separate thing. Indian shipping company, normal. Indian shipping company, the normal provisions are going to apply. That is not the question only. We are specifically talking about foreign shipping company. Now, foreign shipping company, what you simply have to remember is, if the type of contract is CIF, then no GST to be payable separately on transportation charges. But if the foreign shipping company and your contract with your ultimate exporter is on FOB basis, then in this case, as we pay RCM on any normal import of service, in the same way, you will be required to pay RCM. That is all that you need to remember for Mohit Minerals case law. Is it very much important for examination? The answer is no.